Hi guys, क्या हाल चाल है भाई? Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? Am I audible and visible? Please tell me a yes in chat box if you am audible and visible. Good morning guys. कैसे हो आप लोग? And I am pretty sorry for not being able to take the class on Friday. I was a little unwell, हल्का feverish था लग रहा था हमें. And the times are such that I don't take any chances. Okay, we have to be a little careful, and for that reason I decided to take some rest. Okay, chalo. Very nice guys to see you all over here early this morning. And if you recall, we were doing qualitative analysis, and हम लोग qualitative analysis का ये third lecture है. Qualitative analysis, we have been in qualitative analysis we have been doing uh, tests for anions, that is acid radicals. And if you recall, we have read about tests for all the anions, and the dilute acid group, the concentrated acid group, and those radicals for which we have some specific tests. Okay, we have already read these things. So what I will do today is a kind of a question answer session. So before I go ahead for that, before we take questions on the detection of anions, we would revise everything that we have read very quickly, so that be a quick recap before we start with the questions. Okay, chalo. So what we do is we divide all the anions into two different sets. One is known as the dilute acid group and one is known as the concentrated acid group. The dilute acid group contains those anions which are derived from strong acids. Dilute acid groups contains those anions which are derived from weak acids, and these anions behave as strong bases. These anions take up this H plus ion and turn into something which dissociates pretty easily, and it includes carbonate, sulfate, sulfide, nitrite, acetate. We have read tests for each and everything. Okay, we have read tests for each and everything. Next, we have the concentrated acid group. The concentrated acid group includes those anions which are derived from strong acids, and thus these anions turn out to be weak bases. And so the concentrated acid group has the group reagent as concentrated H2SO4. Why concentrated H2SO4 is being used? Because concentrated H2SO4 can function in three different ways. Okay, वो तीन different चीजें कर सकते हैं. It can act as a strong acid, it can perform oxidation, it can also perform dehydration. The anions that we include in this is chloride, bromide, iodide, nitrate, and oxalate. Okay, chloride, bromide, chloride, bromide, iodide, nitrate, and oxalate. Chloride gets changed into HCl. With chloride, the behavior of H2SO4 is like as an acid. It gives it a proton and it generates HCl. With bromide, it functions as an oxidizing agent and it generates bromine gas. With iodide, it generates iodine gas, and iodine is violet in color and bromine is reddish brown in color. With nitrate, it again behaves as an acid and it turns it into HNO3. HNO3 upon the the test tube in which we perform this test, we have to mildly heat it so that HNO3 decomposes to give NO2, and NO2 is reddish brown in color. And nitrate, I had discussed this earlier, that nitrate is detected by something known as a brown ring test. Okay, And oxalate. Oxalate is detected using H2SO4, where H2SO4 behaves as an acid and also behaves as a dehydrating agent. It forms oxalic acid, and oxalic acid undergoes rehydration under the influence of heat and presence of H2SO4 to form carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and H2O. And carbon dioxide, if passed through lime water, will turn it milky. Carbon monoxide will burn with a blue flame. Okay, we had discussed this. Okay, all the tests, this was discussed in the second class. Okay, there's some other anions which have very specific tests. For example, sulfate. For sulfate we add uh, chloride in the solution. We add barium chloride in the solution to give a precipitate of barium sulfate. For phosphate we add ammonium molybdate. Ammonium molybdate gives a canary yellow precipitate. For borates we add alcohol and H2SO4, and the gas which is evolved burns with a green flame or green edged flame. Fluoride test is similar. We take H2SO4 and we take sand. Okay, we in the test tube we take H2SO4 and we take sand. The gas which is evolved turns waxy. Okay, it gives a waxy consistency or whitish consistency in when it comes with a glass rod which is dipped in water, or a moist glass rod. Chromate gives a red precipitate with AgNO3, and thiosulfate S2O3 gives white precipitate with AgNO3, which when treated with water will turn black. Okay, so हमारे पास ये सारे tests हैं. Okay, and chalo, let's start today's session with the first question. Okay, these things we had discussed earlier. The first one is for sulfate, the second one is for ammonium molybdate, the third one is for borates. Let's start the session with the first question, that which of the following anions cannot be easily precipitated? Which of these following anions cannot be easily precipitated? Think logically that which anions do you observe in the form of a precipitate at any one point or the other in the course of these reactions, and which you do not observe as precipitates. So please tell me the answer in the chat box. Which of the following anions cannot be easily precipitated? The options are chloride, sulfate, nitrate and carbonate. क्लोराइड, सल्फेट, नाइट्रेट एंड कार्बोनेट. बताइए. द राइट आंसर is given by, until now, only one person, that is Science World. The right answer is nitrate. The right answer is nitrate. The reason why this answer is nitrate, see, chloride को हम precipitate करते हैं. We precipitate chloride. By using AgNO3. So AgCl precipitate हमें मिल जाता है. Sulfate is being precipitated by adding barium chloride. So we get a barium sulfate precipitate. Carbonate, if you heat it, you will get carbon dioxide, which is precipitated using lime water, and you get CaCO3 precipitate. Okay, so all of these things can be precipitated except for nitrate. Nitrates are, all ionic nitrates are soluble. All ionic nitrates are soluble. All metal nitrates or inorganic nitrates are soluble. So C को nitrate को precipitate नहीं कर सकते हैं. Okay, we cannot precipitate nitrate. Okay, please do remember the very important point. Nitrates cannot be precipitated. All nitrates are soluble. Okay, but chlorides are not soluble. All chlorides are not soluble, all sulfates are not soluble, all carbonates are not soluble, but nitrates, all nitrates are soluble. Chalo, let's go on to the next question. If I take oxalate and MnO2 and H2SO4, what is the gas which is evolved? If I take oxalate, MnO2, H2SO4, which gas is evolved? Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, or oxygen? Okay, which gas is evolved? Please tell me the answer in the chat box. Okay, some people have given some answers. So Akansha says B, Sneha says B, Sneha's Sinju says D, Science World says D. Guys, you need to know a few reactions. Answer is in fact A. Answer is in fact A. Okay, when you treat oxalate with H2SO4 in presence of MnO2, you will get कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. ओके, आपको कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मिलेगा, ठीक है, यू विल गेट कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. सो इट इज क्वाइट an simple reaction. In fact, you will get carbon dioxide. C2O4 2 minus will turn into CO2. Okay, the right answer should be A. You will get carbon dioxide, not A and B. I'm not treating it with just I'm not treating it with just H2SO4. If it would have been treated just with H2SO4, I would have gotten A and B. But if it is treated with H2SO4 and MnO2, I would get only carbon dioxide. Okay, I would get only carbon dioxide. It's a very important test. Manganese salts के साथ oxalate undergoes oxidation and it gives CO2. परमैंगनेट के साथ भी ऐसा ही टेस्ट होता है. If you treat it with permanganate MnO4 minus, you will get CO2. ठीक है? Is that clear? Chalo. Let's move ahead to the next question. Which of the following reagents can be used to identify bromide and iodide in presence of organic layer? If you have an organic layer in which bromine and in which bromine is present, or in which chlorine is present, how would you detect it? Okay, in fact, I should frame the question in this way, that suppose there is a bromide sample or a chloride sample, a bromide sample or an iodide sample. How do we make a detection using an organic layer? Okay, how do we make a detection using organic layer? Akanksha has given the Akanksha, no, it's not a starch solution. It's not starch solution. Rahul Madhav, it's not starch solution. See, we had discussed this earlier, और शायद आप लोग भूल गए हैं. Guys, qualitative analysis, you have to be very thorough if you want to do good in it. So करना क्या होता है कि you take bromide salt or a chloride iodide salt and you treat it with chlorine water. Chlorine having more tendency to undergo reduction will displace these ions from the respective salts and will form a chloride. तो इनको displace कर देगा वो. Okay, so Cl minus will displace, Cl2 will displace bromine or iodine. It will displace it from the salts. And once it is displaced, what you do is you add CCl4 on the top of it. Okay, आपने क्या किया कि bromide salt है, उसके ऊपर chlorine water डाला, and then you add CCl4 or carbon disulfide. What will happen is the liberated bromine will get dissolved in the CCl4 layer, because bromine is more soluble in a non-polar solvent. Okay, organic layer का मतलब non-polar solvent है. This organic layer means non-polar solvent, so it will get dissolved in the non-polar solvent, and because of it, it will impart a color to it. This is known as the layer test. इसको हम बोलते हैं layer test, and for layer test we require chlorine water. Okay. Yes, Rachna. Exactly. Okay, the question is not only about iodine, the question is about iodide and bromide. Okay, the question is about iodide and bromide. Clear? Chalo, let's move on to the next question. FeSO4 is used in brown ring test for nitrate. है कि नहीं? Nitrate का test कैसे करते हैं? We take the nitrate salt, we add freshly prepared FeSO4, and we add H2SO4 from the side of the test tube very slowly, so that at the junction of these two liquids we get a brown ring. What is the oxidation state of Fe in the compound responsible for brown ring test? This is a very important question. ये question कितनी बार JEE में पूछा जा चुका है. Okay, this has been asked multiple times in JEE. So, what is the oxidation state of iron in the brown compound which is responsible for brown ring test, or brown ring complex? What is the oxidation state of iron in brown ring complex? You're giving the right answer is no. Not plus 3. The right answer is not plus 3. Some people have given the answer, some people haven't. Science World has given the answer, Akanksha has given the answer. The right answer is B. Okay, actually plus, this is plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. So the complex is FeH2O5 NO SO4. Okay, sulfate is in -2 oxidation state, NO is in +1 oxidation state, and Fe is in +1 oxidation state. Okay, the right answer is that Fe with +1 oxidation state is the compound which is Fe in +1 oxidation state is the one which is present within this compound which is responsible for brown ring test. So this is the brown ring complex. Brown ring complex. Okay, this is the brown ring complex, and iron is present in +1 oxidation state. Okay. Chalo, let's move on to the next question. The next question is this. A salt A gives brick red fumes B with concentrated H2SO4 and K2Cr2O7, which gives yellow solution with C, a yellow solution C with NaOH. So there is a salt A which reacts with K2Cr2O7 and H2SO4 to give B, which is red fumes. If you remember our lecture which was done last week Wednesday, you might be able to answer this question. And B, upon reaction with NaOH, gives C, which is yellow in color. Okay, and if C is being made to react with, lead acetate, PbOAc whole twice, you will get precipitate D, which is also yellow in color. This is a solution, this is a precipitate. Okay, this is a solution, this is a precipitate. Question is, what is C? आपको C बताना है क्या है. Okay, so अगर आपको ये reaction याद है, if you remember this test, then you would be able to answer it very very easily. थोड़ा दिमाग लगाइए. Okay, a lot of people have given the answer, but they have given the answer slightly incorrectly. थोड़ा सा incorrect हो गया है. Okay, so let me just tell you what is the right answer. The right answer would be, चलो हम identify करते हैं. This red colored fumes is a very important identification. That is in fact CrO2Cl2. That is B. So if CrO2Cl2 is being obtained, then A must be chloride. A chloride salt must have been used with dichromate and H2SO4. And once we obtain chromyl chloride, CrO2Cl2, CrO2Cl2 is known as chromyl chloride. If it is being made to react with sodium hydroxide, chromyl chloride if is made to react with sodium hydroxide, then it will give a yellow solution of Na2CrO4. This is C and C is yellow. The moment you treat Na2CrO4 with PbOAc whole twice, you would get PbCrO4, which is yellow precipitate. और ये हो गया आपका D. So our right answer should be, आपको बताना है क्या है C. You have to tell what is C. You do not have to tell what is B. C is Na2CrO4. The right answer is A. Okay, it is in fact the chromyl chloride test. A lot of people have given the answer as B, which is incorrect. The question was not about what is the red colored fume. The red colored fume is that of chromyl chloride, but the question was in fact about the yellow solution. Question इसके बारे में पूछा गया है. Okay, question has been asked about what is C. C is the yellow colored solution, and the yellow colored solution is sodium chromate, Na2CrO4. Okay. Clear? I hope this is understood. Okay, chalo. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is this. And this is a very interesting question, simple sa hai. On heating a mixture of NaBr and concentrated H2SO4, what do we obtain? When we heat a mixture of NaBr and concentrated H2SO4, what do we obtain? So you are having bromide and you are treating it with H2SO4 concentrated. What would you obtain? In this case, we had discussed this earlier. What is the compound that you would obtain when NaBr bromide unit reacts with H2SO4? Please answer in the chat box. क्या मिलना चाहिए हमें? What should we obtain? Some people are answering. Okay, DC. The right answer is bromine. We obtain bromine gas in the form of reddish brown vapors. Okay, we obtain bromine gas in the form of reddish brown vapors. The right answer should be in fact C. The right answer would not be anything of between A, B, C, A, B and D. Okay, the right answer. Understood? The right answer is C. You should know this. Bromide comes under the second group or second class of acid radicals which are detected using concentrated H2SO4. अब ये concentrated H2SO4 करते क्या है कि इनको ऑक्सीडाइज कर देते हैं. Some of, and also one very simple idea that you should keep in mind is that concentrated acid group was the one which included anions derived from strong acids. So bromide comes from a strong acid, that is HBr. So bromide is a weak acid and H2SO4 will oxidize it. Bromide and iodide will be oxidized by H2SO4. Chloride it reacts as an acid. Okay. There's no disproportionation reaction. No, there would not be any disproportionation reaction. The right answer should be bromine. Okay. Invariably bromine. Chili. Let's go on to the next question. Okay, very interesting one. A doctor by mistake administers barium nitrate solution to a patient for radiographical study. In fact, when we try to identify bone density and all, and when we try to identify tumors in the body, the doctors will do a radiochemical examination. In that radiochemical examination, they'll give a barium salt to drink, and this barium will get absorbed in different amounts in different locations. Okay. Now imagine there is barium nitrate which is given to a patient, and it has to be done, a radiographical study has to be done. Which of the following should be given to prevent the absorption of barium? Rahul Madhav, for the previous question, the answer is bromine. Okay, you need to know this information. This was discussed in the last class. It does not oxidize itself all the way to HbRO3. हमेशा एकदम highest oxidation state पे oxidize नहीं होगा. Okay, it oxidizes itself to bromine. So a doctor by mistake administers barium nitrate solution. So how do we prevent absorption of excess bromine? कैसे करेंगे? Sorry, excess barium. Excess barium. So what should we do? Think logically. There is barium ion which is present. एक बात बताओ. Think of something, this question as like, if I have excess sulfate ion which is present in a solution, how we can precipitate excess sulfate ion? Excess sulfate ion will be precipitated using barium chloride solution so that it gives barium sulfate. So can I say that if I have to precipitate excess sulfate, I will add barium chloride? If I have to precipitate excess barium, I will add a sulfate. So the right answer should be B. Things can go like it is mutually, the reaction works in a mutual manner. Like if I have excess sulfate, I can precipitate it using barium. If I have excess barium, I can precipitate it using sulfate. Okay? So the right answer should be B. Clear? बेरियम क्लोराइड तो डिजोल्व हो जाएगा. सोडियम कार्बोनेट हम यूज नहीं करते, अमोनियम क्लोराइड यूज नहीं करते, वी यूज sodium sulfate because sulfate, as we all know, is precipitated when it comes in contact with barium as barium sulfate. Okay, chalo, let's move on to the next question. In an alkaline solution, sodium nitroprusside gives a violet color with. Alkaline solution में sodium nitroprusside gives a violet color with which of these anions? Please try to recall for which anion we had used sodium nitroprusside. For which anion we had used sodium nitroprusside? ये हमने डिस्कस किया था. This was discussed last week Monday, the first day when we had started discussing about acid radicals. Okay, the right answer would be sodium nitroprusside is this Na2FeCN5NO, and this undergoes reaction with which of these anions to give a violet color. अब violet बोल सकते हो या purple बोल सकते हो. So between violet and purple, which species, like which violet or purple colored species is obtained? The right answer should be sulfide. The right answer should be sulfide. The reason is you will get Na2FeCN5NOS. Okay, this is violet or purple. Okay, violet or purple. You can call it violet or purple. This sulfide ion is detected using sodium nitroprusside. In fact, sodium nitroprusside is a very unique reagent and is used to detect sulfide and sulfide only among these. Okay, sodium nitroprusside कभी भी आपको सुनाई दे, दिमाग में आपके क्लिक करना चाहिए. It is always sulfide which is detected using sodium nitroprusside. Okay, the right answer should be B. Okay, so please do remember that these are tests. For becoming good at this topic, you need to cross reference. If you have your notes which are prepared, then you can cross reference the information. So there is information that is about sodium nitroprusside. You can check in your notes. These are the anions which are given. किस anion के लिए sodium nitroprusside use किया गया? If you use this method multiple times, you will find that at a certain point of time you would remember this information like as a second nature. Okay, chalo, let's move on to the next question. On heating a salt, a gas is evolved which turns lime water milky and also turns acidified dichromate solution green. Which is that anion? Okay, on heating a salt, a gas is evolved which turns lime water milky. Lime water milky is being done by two anions. Two anions, दो anions lime water को milky कर देते हैं, and one of them turns dichromate solution green. Okay, one of them turns dichromate solution green. So remember, if you have lime water, it will turn milky. It will turn milky by the usage of carbonate or sulfite. You can use two of them, carbonate or sulfite. However, sulfite will react with dichromate. and will turn it green. Cr3 plus, which is green in color. Okay, and sulfite will turn into sulfate. Understood? This will undergo reduction, this will undergo oxidation. The right answer should be C. The right answer should be C. Okay, so lime water test. Please do remember, lime water test, lime water milky, it's not only carbonate. It's not only carbonate, it is sulfite as well. And sulfite will turn dichromate solution green. Okay, sulfite will turn dichromate solution green. So it is very important. If you use carbonate, then it turns milky because of calcium carbonate, and if you use sulfite, it will turn milky because of calcium sulfide. Okay, so both of them give a milky appearance. Both of them will give a milky appearance. Clear? The right answer should be sulfide, that is C. Okay, should be C. Chalo, let's move on to the next question. A solid mixture of AgCl and dichromate, potassium dichromate, is heated with concentrated H2SO4 and it produces, I would say it produces what? यार 9th स्टैंडर्ड में जेई की अब तैयारी क्यों करना चाह रहे हो? 9th स्टैंडर्ड एंजॉय करो यार. Enjoy your 9th standard, man. Okay, you can think of JEE maybe in 10th standard. Enjoy your 9th standard. A solid mixture of AgCl and potassium dichromate is heated with concentrated H2SO4 and it produces what should be the right answer? Greenish yellow gas, colorless gas, red colored gas, or no gas. There will be no evolution of any gas in this reaction. ये सब याद कैसे रखें सर? देखो भाई, याद तो प्रैक्टिस करने से आता है. सवाल सॉल्व करने होते हैं. You need to read, you need to solve questions. Okay, there's a lot of information you need to you have to read it multiple times, you have to revise it. Unless and until you do these things, you will not be able to remember these information. Okay, so some people have given the answer. Akanksha has given the answer as A, Sneha has given the answer as C. The right answer is actually D. No gas will be evolved. It gives a very confusing result. Why? Because there's a chloride over here, and what you would feel that if there is a chloride, it should react with K2Cr2O7 and H2SO4, and it should give red colored vapors of CrO2Cl2. ये मुझे मिलना चाहिए. I should get this. However, think logically. Silver chloride दिया गया है. It is not sodium chloride or any chloride which is soluble so that the chloride ion is available in water. Silver chloride is given. Silver chloride is a precipitate, guys. It's a precipitate. Okay, it's an insoluble precipitate, or like you can say sparingly soluble precipitate. Say the chloride ion concentration which comes from it is so very less that it will not participate in this reaction. You need chloride ion to be present in the solution so that it shows this test. Chloride ion to precipitate के form में present है. So most of the chloride ion is present in the form of precipitate. It's like an infinitesimal amount of chloride which is present in the solution, and that will not give the test. Okay, Cl is not gonna be Cl minus is not gonna participate in this reaction, therefore the answer should be no gas. Okay, it's a very interesting question. It can easily confuse people because they can see chloride and they can end up marking C is the answer. Red colored gas for chromyl chloride test, but no, chromyl chloride test would not be given because the chloride ion is not present in the solution. Okay? Chalo, let's move on to the next question. The sodium salt of an unknown ion, when treated with magnesium chloride, gives a white precipitate only on boiling. Only on boiling. What is that anion? कौन सा anion है ऐसा which when reacts with magnesium chloride or can say any okay, magnesium chloride gives a white precipitate only on boiling. Think logically, which upon the influence of heat will give a precipitate, which upon the influence of heat will give precipitate. The right answer guys is the bicarbonate. The right answer is the bicarbonate, because when you treat bicarbonate, just a moment, when you treat bicarbonate and you heat it, you will get CO3 2 minus and MgCO3 will be obtained as a precipitate. ये आपको कैल्शियम वाला टेस्ट याद है, लाइम वाटर टेस्ट? लाइम वाटर टेस्ट में क्या कर रहे थे? बाइकार्बोनेट which was obtained was soluble but the carbonate was insoluble. The same goes on over here. What we are doing is we are converting bicarbonate into carbonate by heating. Okay, so MgHCO3 is soluble, but MgCO3 is insoluble, and it appears as a precipitate. Okay, chalo. Let's move on to the next question. On being heated with SiO2 and concentrated H2SO4, a salt produces white fumes which give white deposit on coming in contact with moistened glass rod. White deposit on coming in contact with moistened glass rod. What do you think will be the right answer? Moistened glass rod के साथ which anion participates in reaction in such a way that you observe a white deposit. The right answer, very good. Some people have given Akanksha, Shyam, they've given the right answer. The right answer is calcium fluoride, because as we had discussed earlier, fluoride gives on reaction with concentrated H2SO in presence of SiO2, it produces H2SiF6. When it comes in contact with moisture, it gives H2SiF6, that is hydrofluorosilicic acid, and hydrofluorosilicic acid appears as waxy or white. It appears as waxy or white. ठीक है? It appears as waxy or white. Clear? Any doubts? बताइए, कोई दिक्कत, कोई परेशानी? So all of these tests are very simple. In fact, they are very straightforward tests. They are non-complicated ones as well. But to do good in these tests, you need to do a continuous set of revision. जितनी चीजें पहली 2 क्लासेस में पढ़ाई गई हैं उनको 2-3 बार रिवाइज कर लो, and then try to solve these questions. Read them, try to maintain proper notes, and then solve these questions. You will feel no troubles at all. Okay, so anyways, these are mains questions. No, these are not mains questions. Mains questions will be slightly on the same lines, but these are not mains questions. We'll take mains questions after we finish cation analysis and anion analysis completely. Anion analysis is done. So in the next class, that is on Wednesday, we will be starting with the tests for cations. Okay, so please do join us for test on cations. We will be discussing the dry tests on that very day. अगर dry tests हमारे खत्म हो गए on that day, then on Friday we'll be discussing wet tests, and I'll give you certain tricks to remember the colors and the ions. Okay, so please do join me on Wednesday as well as Friday for detection of cations. Okay, chalo, so all the very best guys. Please take care of yourself. ख्याल व्याल रखिए अपना, बाहर जाओ मत, and keep yourself healthy. And और क्या, पढ़ाई करते रहो. ठीक है, ठीक, चलिए. So bye bye guys, have a lovely time. Let's meet on Wednesday. Okay, and Wednesday we'll start with analysis of cations. Please do tell me in the comment section that if you have any doubts, or if you have queries, or if you have any comments, so please do put your comments in the comment section. Okay, chaliye, bye bye guys, have a lovely time.